Hello and welcome to another episode of IGN Give This a 7, but is it really though? Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, and I'm going to start right away by saying I have actually bought this game 3 times. I owned it on the Wii U, I owned it on the 3DS, and I owned it on the Switch. Well, I still do own it on the Switch. Technically, I think I still own it on the 3DS because it was a digital download. Which one might assume I absolutely love the game because I've bought it 3 times. No, I'm just weird when it comes to... I struggled to play it on the Wii U because the game ran like crap, to be honest. I struggled to play it on the 3DS because playing this sort of Musou Warriors game on a handheld used to absolutely destroy me. So I figured 3rd time is finally the charm. It'll run really well on the Switch. It'll have a proper controller, the Pro controller at the time. So this is the time when I can finally get into it and really enjoy it. Not particularly. I'm not the biggest Warriors fan to begin with. I tended to... I don't think I played a single one of the Dynasty Warrior games. Maybe one, but it was a fighting game, not a Musou game. I honestly can't think of a Warriors game that I've actually enjoyed. I tried so hard to get into different genres. There was one that actually launched on the 3DS. Can't remember the name of it, but I got that, and I always drop them a few missions in, or halfway through the campaign, or sometimes I manage to finish the campaign, but I definitely don't do any of the extra stuff, which if this game has so fucking much, it's unbelievable. Content-wise, honestly, the game is absolutely fantastic. If you actually like this, you will get a fuck ton of bang for your buck. Especially on the Switch 2 as well, where I think the game is running so much better than it ever did. I don't think this is one that had a unofficial patch or anything. I just think it's the raw horsepower is really making the game run a hell of a lot better. But the problem is, I don't really like the game that much. I find it bland, I find it basic, I find it soulless, because it's a franchise I absolutely adore, The Legend of Zelda. And it's not so much anything other than the fact that I dislike the story. The story just doesn't work. It's so basic, so boring, so pointless. It doesn't really feel like a Zelda title at all. It feels very much like a Link's crossbow training, only with I guess hack and slash combat. There's just not much there to the story. I thought it might be funny and decent having Linkle, and I do actually like Linkle as a character and wish that she got some justice in a much better game. And I'm trying to avoid going to this place so soon, so I'll bring that back later. There's not much here. Everything about it just felt sterile, but it was obviously the first time Nintendo had turned around and said to do this, and you can definitely tell this is the first game. They then made a Fire Emblem Warriors game, and it was very similar. I dropped off it was okay, but then we finally started to actually get good games in these. I don't even know what to say of franchise or genre, because Fire Emblem and Zelda are totally different, but at the same time, it seems to be the same team making all of these. We got Age of Calamity, which this is why I was about to say I didn't want to jump too far ahead, and it turns out I was kind of up to there anyway. I wish Linkle had came back as a guest character in either Age of Calamity or Age of Imprisonment, just as a fun DLC character, and technically probably still could with Age of Imprisonment. Because Age of Calamity was fucking brilliant. I really, really liked everything that they actually did with it. I liked all of the changes they made. I loved the story. I loved that you were seeing parts of the Breath of the Wild Hyrule where there's broken bridges in areas, and you then suddenly see the battle that broke the bridges. You see loads of things that essentially tie into the lore, even though the game wasn't fully considered canon, which I don't know why the hell they didn't just take the extra step and say that yeah, it's canon. And I know obviously the whole thing with the robot travelling back in time, but there's ways that you could have done that to still fit it in with the canon of the lore, and it actually worked really well. But for the most part, Age of Calamity, really, really enjoyed it. and then we got Fire Emblem Three Houses, I think it was called, or is Three Houses the actual Fire Emblem? I'm trying to remember I know it was three, maybe it was Three Hopes. I might be thinking Three Hopes. So Three Hopes, I think, was the Three Houses spin-off that was a Musou game, and it was probably slightly better than Age of Calamity, but at the same time, I love Zelda a lot more than Fire Emblem, so as much as it was kind of a better game, gameplay-wise, story and everything, I loved Age of Calamity, and then we finally got Age of Imprisonment, and Age of Imprisonment, I will eventually be doing separate videos on Age of Calamity and Age of Imprisonment, because I do see them as, I don't want to say essential, but at the same time, the fact that Age of Imprisonment took all of the cutscenes that I absolutely loved in Tears of the Kingdom and fleshed them out so much and added so much story and so much depth, and also had fantastic gameplay, and also allowed me to do some really cool stuff with some characters that I absolutely love, like Minoru. I was just so happy with how Age of Imprisonment went, and because of really loving Age of Calamity, really loving Age of Imprisonment, I did actually, again, try to go back to this one and start a new file, which you probably noticed I was in the middle of where, like, the path branches. I can't even remember where this is in the campaign. I don't think I've, maybe halfway, maybe a third, and got to the point again where I'm like, nope, I'm just so fucking bored by this. So it becomes an issue. I don't know what to say here, because the whole point is I look at games that IGN have given a 7 to, obviously, with the series, and with my own opinion basically say why I think they got that, if I think it was fair, if I think it was unfair. It's one of those where I might end up saying that 7 is the right score, because from one standpoint I want to see it's worse than a 7, because I personally don't like it for the story and a lot of other things, but mechanically, gameplay wise, and how much content there is, if you love this genre, if you love this franchise, if you love this kind of game or anything, you'll probably really fucking love it and think it's like a 9 or a 10. Well, maybe not a 10. I think if you play Age of Imprisonment, and like, if you think this is a 9, then Age of Imprisonment's going to be a 10, personally. So, it's kind of hard, because it's not so much that the game does anything wrong, it's just, it was a first draft, and it's one of those that, as a first draft, it is solid enough, it is a decent enough game, but at the same time, it's nothing that I personally would ever recommend, especially now, because if you're going to get into one of these, you start with either Age of Calamity or Age of Imprisonment, and I really wish Age of Calamity had a Switch 2 patch to bring it up to 60 FPS. It's one of the most infuriating things that game is locked at 30, and now we have a Switch 2, and again, even if you don't do an official patch, you could easily just unlock the frame rate and go, yep, let's just see what we get. Hopefully, maybe one day, like, because at the end of the day, Nintendo and everyone is still making these, so maybe that means that there is a team out there that's willing to do a Switch 2 patch for Three Hopes and Age of Calamity. I actually put a mission on that I'd already beat before, and I genuinely can't remember what I know fine well it's probably because I'm not actually focusing, but I genuinely can't remember what the fuck I was supposed to be doing on that. So instead, I will just go for, do I go Death Mountain or Skyloft? I'll go Death Mountain. I'm kind of at the end of the video anyway, but I guess I should kind of expand just for people who truly might not know anything about this. It may look overwhelming with all of the stuff that you get here, like you can choose warrior info, choose your characters, choose their weapons, you can grind weapons out, and that's part of the issue with this one. Grinding out all of the upgrades, all of the weapons, all of the stuff that you need to splice, essentially. I know it's not splicing, it's a different word. To be able to power everything up, it takes so much time that, as much as the gameplay is kind of solid, like, again, I don't have many issues with the actual gameplay. The combat and everything feels fine, it runs fine, it runs really smooth, it looks really good. Graphically, I still actually think this looks pretty decent. It's just, I have no emotional connection to anything, and the cool factor of playing as characters that I really love from a franchise I adore in this kind of setting wore off so fast when I also didn't have the emotional attachment to it. Whereas again, with Age of Calamity and Age of Imprisonment, I played the ever-living fuck out of the two of those games, and quite frankly, I'm hoping Age of Imprisonment gets some DLC so that I can actually go back and play some over. Yeah, it's kind of complicated, because I feel a little unfair by saying that it's a 7, but for me personally, it really is, because it's definitely a good game. It's just a good game that I have quite a few problems with for the longevity. It's like, you give me all of this content, but I don't really see there's any reason to play it. And it's a shame, because there are a few things that they could have done to tweak it, especially with the fact that by this point it was the 3rd time you'd released it. They could have at least made the grind a hell of a lot less, to be honest, so at least that way I'd not feel like it was so, well, grindy, I guess, so pointless to just constantly do mission after mission after mission after mission, leveling up every little thing. It's like, maybe if they'd at least made that faster, I'd have stuck with it a lot longer. But yeah, I can't be too upset, I can't be too pissed off, because at least we ended up getting, and again, one of them isn't Zelda, one of them is Fire Emblem, I'm fully aware, but at least we ended up getting 3 really fucking good games from this team afterwards. So we've got the 2 kinda mid ones with the, I don't even remember what the Fire Emblem one's called, the first Fire Emblem one. I will blank on it like mad, and then no doubt as soon as I stop recording it'll come to me, but you get this one and that Fire Emblem as kind of the mid, and then you get like 3 really good ones. So yeah, if you're a Fire Emblem fan, I would definitely say go for 3 Hopes, and if you're a Zelda fan, if you've played Breath of the Wild, so this is one of those, like, Age of Calamity is technically a prequel, but I strongly recommend playing Breath of the Wild before Age of Calamity. And the same again with Age of Imprisonment and Tears of the Kingdom. Play Breath of the Wild, play Age of Calamity, play Tears of the Kingdom, play Age of Imprisonment. That would be my personal play order, because Age of Calamity is going to spoil some Breath of the Wild stuff, and let's be real, Breath of the Wild is one of the greatest games of all fucking time, and as much as I really like Age of Calamity, it's no Breath of the Wild, so why would you spoil Breath of the Wild when instead you might... I don't even want to say spoil Age of Calamity, because everyone at that point was expected to have played Breath of the Wild who got into Age of Calamity, so it was just designed that way, and same again with Age of Imprisonment. So yeah, I think I am finally done with this video, and I'm going to say this has been Sky Fellowship, and until the next time, I officially say, yep, I think IGN 7 is fair. I think I might be the one being a little harsh, to be honest, so therefore IGN's obviously harsh because it's their original fucking rating. Yeah, sorry about that. So until next time, this has been Sky Fellowship, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'm honestly surprised at how little damage a giant boulder like that is taking. Sorry, that's just one of those things, and I'm kind of more interested in the damage from that now. Anyway, apologies about that, Imp. You deserve better than to be hit in the face by multiple boulders while I'm trying to end the video. Bye!